Hey, y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders. I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
Dylan, how are you?
Doing great.
It's not true.
It is true.
Man, we've had a hell of a week. I've had a hell of a week. Firstly, I fell and sprained my wrist. I thought I had broken it. My wrist is super sore. I can't really lift, pull, tug.
Can't smack me around with it.
I'm just useless, and it's my dominant hand.
I'm glad it's hurt.
That has sucked the last couple of days, right? Because nobody else cleans the house. So how am I supposed to get work done when my hand isn't operating fully?
Right. And I'm safe. I'm marked safe from Heather's hand.
For now.
So what else happened, Heather?
Oh my gosh. I've not had a car for 4 months. 4 months without a vehicle. 2 mechanics later. All of our money gone. Thousands of dollars gone. And my car's still not running properly. And I just give up, Dylan. Normally this would send me into like an anxiety spiral.
Right.
But I'm just like, I don't even care.
It's what it is.
It's whatevs.
What are you going to do?
This is the universe telling me you never need to leave your house.
Well,
like for sure. You don't need a car because you never need to leave your house.
Okay. Well, we'll listen to the universe, I guess, because that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, we've decided to add a new tier to Patreon. It's the Buy Heather a Car tier. So if anyone out there, rich benefactor, want to do a nice charitable thing, you can buy me a car. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Her hand does work to sign paperwork on transferring a title.
Yeah.
It can at least do that.
See,
all right.
okay,
Thanks.
Cool.
Awesome. So we're waiting for that to click over. Until then, what do we have for our listeners today?
Oh, gosh, Dylan, we have nothing. We have nothing but heartache. No, we're going to first start with discussing the documentary on Netflix, which we mentioned a few weeks ago. We happened to sit down and watch this together. It's a 3-part docuseries. Amy Bradley is missing.
And this one was very interesting.
Now, more than 27 years ago, 23-year-old Amy Bradley went missing while on a Caribbean cruise with her family, and authorities still don't know why or how she disappeared. Or if she even disappeared.
Yeah, I guess the two main thoughts are either she accidentally or intentionally fell overboard, or something else nefarious happened to her. You know, someone on the cruise basically did something to her.
Well, this new Netflix documentary kind of spotlights her family's ongoing journey to find her. After all these years, they have not given up hope. They set up a command center in their home. You actually get to see footage of the family setting up a bit of a home office and working diligently day and night to try to get information out about their missing daughter, their missing loved one.
Yeah, they're receiving tips. They're almost categorizing the tips as far as what might be most likely to help, and they raise sizable rewards in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I have to say, one of maybe the saddest parts of watching this is really watching this family almost frozen in time.
Yes.
They still have her car in mint condition in the garage.
Dad keeps it gassed up, washed, waxed.
Waiting for
her.
They have all her stuff that she took on the trip still packed up in the bags. And it's really sad and tugs at your heart watching this family just waiting, still have that hope. But honestly, in this case, I think they have a reason to maybe have that hope, because there's some really interesting aspects to things that have happened since the cruise.
Well, we get to see interviews with Amy's family members, FBI officials who are working on the case, and people who believe they have seen Amy alive. And they're kind of hoping that covering this case on the world's largest streaming platform is going to maybe rattle some new information loose.
Right.
I didn't realize, you were explaining to me how international Netflix is, and I guess I didn't realize, it never occurred to me for some reason that Netflix was a huge platform.
Yeah, it's a huge platform, and a lot of the other platforms have tried to play catch up since the digital revolution, the streaming revolution. They're nowhere near the international behemoth that Netflix is.
So in the film, we also get introduced to the cruise director who was working on the ship at the time, and he insists that Amy fell or jumped overboard. Now, they've never recovered a body in the case, which is one big reason why it remains open and why people still have theories that Amy is alive.
Well, yeah, because officials and anybody in the know of on the island where she disappeared, Curacao, as they were approaching the island, they feel very fairly. They feel strongly that something would have washed up because the way the tide and stuff
a body
is.
if
Yeah,
she had fallen or jumped overboard.
they feel like there had been some kind of sign of her turn up somewhere on the shoreline.
Yeah, one of the law enforcement officers there said, I know the tides. I've lived here my whole life, and I can tell you if there was a body, it would have washed up by now.
Because it's happened before.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
But the ocean's big, so is that the case? I don't know. I have to say, Dylan, from the beginning, I very much disliked the cruise director and all of the employees of the cruise line.
I agree completely.
They were super jackasses.
They were, well, everybody else is still on a cruise.
We're here to make money. It's a business.
We just have
attitude.
to. Yeah, they wouldn't even hold the ship before they had a depart. What would you call it? A debarking, disembarking.
Yeah, they were. They were making a port call.
Yeah,
Curacao. Amy goes missing around 6:30 in the morning is when it's first noticed by her father that she's not there. So by 7:30, they're starting to dock the cruise ship, and people are, of course, wanting to get off and go into town and spend the day. And her parents are asking, like, can't we just hold the passengers? You've got thousands of passengers. Can't we just hold them for a minute? We've got to make this announcement, try to find her. And the cruise line is very dismissive of these parents' suggestion.
They wouldn't even, they were reluctant to even make an announcement because they didn't want to disturb other guests that early in the morning. And I mean, to a degree, I get it. But, I mean, I would not be, personally, if I was on the cruise as well, I'd be like, oh, my God, I'd be worried for that family. I wouldn't be like, oh, I can't believe you're, waking me up for this announcement.
Well, one of the points that's mentioned multiple times during this docuseries from guests who were on the cruise ship, staff, is that Amy Bradley was very striking and recognizable. Most of the people on the cruise had seen her at some point or another and had described her as being kind of magnetic personality, charismatic. Like when she walked in the room, people took notice. She's a very tall young woman.
Yeah, big personality.
Cute, big personality. And that she kind of was like the center of attention everywhere she went on the ship. Staff members were paying her kind of extra close attention. Other, guests on the ship seemed to really be drawn to her. She was, again, very social. So it's not like if they had, I feel like if they had made the announcement kind of early on and had gotten more people kind of in the know, kept them on the ship for a few minutes instead of letting them all leave, a lot of people would have had an interest in trying to find this young woman because they had seen her. Many of them afterwards were like, oh, yeah, I saw her here on the boat or there.
In the nightclub,
yeah.
Dancing with people, stuff like that. And yeah, but and what you automatically turn many of these people into investigators, an army of investigators working for you to help maybe find this young girl.
Well, one of the things that makes this case hard to solve is that cell phones, it's not that they didn't exist at the time of her disappearance, but maybe were not as widely used or not as common. I think that's a problem because in today's world with cell phones, GPS tracking, like you're pretty much able to keep tabs on someone.
Right.
So you would know, hey, this phone was in her pocket, it went into the water.
Yeah.
Or it's in this location on the ship.
Or you could tell when it stops pinging or if it was damaged beyond repair or something like that.
The cruise ship could determine the last time Amy used her key card to enter her bedroom, but there's no way to tell like when or how she left her room. So it records you entering the room but not leaving the room.
Which makes sense. I mean, nobody's ever had to punch out to get out of their room.
I guess not. Now, there are some theories that the directors introduce through the docuseries. One suggests that she could still be alive. There are thoughts that maybe she's been murdered. She was stored in the ship and then taken off the boat when it docked at the next stop. Maybe she walked off the ship and started a new life somewhere. Or maybe she's being held against her will somewhere.
And I think they have some eyewitness accounts, people that come forward even months later that may give a little credence to the fact that maybe she did make it off the ship alive. Don't you? Yeah, that's very interesting.
Well, Amy Bradley is Missing also features people who say they saw her alive outside of the ship, but maybe didn't report this information until years later, so authorities couldn't act on them. In the documentary, one person who claims to have seen Amy, a man named David Carmichael, says he was walking along a beach in Curacao when he saw a young woman with a tattoo of the Tasmanian devil walking towards him. She looked like she was about to say something, but then kept walking with two other men who were with her. And he thinks one of the men was Alistair Douglas, a bass player whose nickname, I guess, was Yellow.
Yeah, he was the ship's band.
Yeah, bass player with the ship's band that Amy had been dancing with hours before she disappeared. Now, Carmichael is from Canada, and he was on Curacao doing a snorkel or like a dive trip, and that's what he was doing when he encountered Amy.
Right. He was there months later. He was not connected to the ship, and he did not realize till quite a while later as to who she was, but he's 1,000% sure that is the girl he saw, and he also feels strongly that it was with that man, Yellow.
Another interesting witness that has come forward is a Navy veteran named Bill Hefner, who says that he met a girl at a bar in Curacao who said her name was Amy Bradley and told him that she hopped off a cruise ship to score drugs and was now being held against her will. This young sailor at the time, he was kind of in a place he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, you've told me about these places, bars or areas of towns that are basically blacklisted.
Yes.
And you're not allowed to go there. And if you're found to be there for any reason as a young sailor, you will get in trouble, right?
You can be put on restriction. You could lose a rank. Yeah, I mean, you could get into trouble. And most of these places that are blacklisted, it's because they're known for criminal activity, whether that's, prostitution, drugs, illegal gambling, scams, dangerous, violent activity, people robbing military service members, that kind of thing.
Right.
So he was in the wrong place, and therefore he didn't report it. And he didn't even really understand when she said, "My name is Amy Bradley." He didn't really know what that meant until later, when he realized, wait a minute, this young woman's been missing.
Right.
In 2005, a woman named Judy Marr says she was using a restroom in Barbados when she heard a bunch of people come into the bathroom. A group of men were ambushing a woman and telling her that there was some sort of deal that she had to be part of and she better not be late, and were almost kind of making threats to this woman. And the poor woman seemed very upset, kind of panicked. And when Mara left the stall, she saw this woman standing by the sink, very emotional. When she asked the woman, "What's your name?" the woman said her name was Amy.
In a southern drawl, because she was from Virginia, right?
In that same year, in 2005, a lead in the case for Amy being alive happened. An anonymous tipster sent the Bradley family a link to a website featuring sex workers for hire. And an FBI forensic analysis determined that one of the women on the website did in fact look like Amy.
Yeah, and they were using computer software to make comparisons of facial features that typically do not change. Things like your cheekbones, your nose, and the way your eyes are set. And in their opinion, your chin. In their opinion, their professional opinion, using this technology, they felt like this picture was...
Yeah, measurements of her ear.
Yeah.
I mean...
They felt like the picture was indeed her.
Yes.
And I gotta say, even though it looked different, it looked like it could be her.
When you see the side-by-side
Yes.
of the photos, and you take into consideration she would have been, a few
Years older,
that
yes.
kind of thing, definitely very similar features.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Shortly after Amy disappeared, one of the first suspects that FBI questioned was that bass player, Yellow, who worked the cruise ship. His real name, of course, Alistair Douglas. A videographer on the cruise ship found footage that showed Amy dancing with him in the middle of the night, just hours before she went missing. But the FBI found no evidence to charge him with Amy's disappearance, and they did administer a polygraph test, which was inconclusive.
Yeah, and see, the another tricky aspect of this being a cruise ship is you're in international waters, you're in foreign ports if you happen to be in a port of call, and the FBI really doesn't have any jurisdiction. I mean, they'll do them the courtesy of allowing them to question
You're in
people.
international waters.
Yeah, they'll allow the FBI to operate to a certain
It's
extent.
like the Wild West out there.
Yeah, but you have no. They can't just arrest people. They can't easily obtain warrants for arrest or to search something or anything.
What I found really interesting about the Doc Dylan was a bit of a surprise. We get Amica Douglas, the daughter of Alistair Douglas. She appears in the documentary and says she's not convinced that he had nothing to do with the case. She goes on to talk about a lot of the red flags that she saw in her father, saying that when he returned from the cruise ship that Amy had been on, her mother found him to be more distant. Her mother also had discovered a bag full of photos featuring white women, and these were kind of suspicious to her to her mother.
Well, yeah. Why do
you have this collection of photographs of other women?
Right. That's very weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of creepy, right? To have a collection. I mean, why would you have all these random pictures? And while Amy was on the ship, a photographer takes kind of a bit of a portrait of you, I suppose, when you have like a, kind of the captain's dinner or whatever, you get to dress up kind of fancy.
Yeah, I would liken it to like when you go on a ride or something, they always snap that snapshot of you and then ask you as you're leaving the gift shop or
trying to get you to buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get you to buy it. And it seemed like the same kind of setup, right?
Right. So when her family, after these pictures are taken and they have dinner, her family stops by the photo area wanting to buy this picture of Amy because they thought it was a really beautiful picture. Someone's purchased it already.
It was missing.
It was missing. It's gone. So we don't know. Well, I say purchased it. We don't know if somebody purchased it or if they just took the picture. So the photographer's like, yeah, we can reprint that for you. Her family found that very strange.
Well, yeah, and the photographer was even like, oh, yeah, I saw your picture, when I was doing them. Yeah, let me look. And then they go to look, and it's literally, it's missing.
Amica, this was, I think, a very intriguing part as well, is that Amica, during the documentary, in real time, calls her father and confronts him on the phone while she's being filmed for the documentary. So we get almost like this real-time questioning of the daughter, right? Asking her father, like, did you have something to do with this? Were you involved?
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting if it truly was just a cold call on her part.
What did you think about his reaction? He seemed very defensive and exasperated. He starts kind of yelling like, I didn't do anything wrong. What am I supposed to do?
Well, he acted like the pictures of him and all these other ladies and things like that was not a big deal. He works on a cruise ship. He takes many pictures with people, but why are you keeping them? Okay, that's
part of
weird.
The job is like guests flirt with you. You're supposed to flirt back.
Yeah, and he just happened to be dancing with her the night she went missing and all this stuff. And I had two feelings about it. He seemed kind of defensive and all that. But also, if he truly didn't have anything to do with her disappearance, and for years and years there'd been a suspicion or he'd been questioned multiple times, that could also explain his frustration of kind of not wanting to talk about it anymore. You know what I mean? But considering the eyewitnesses, there was even two eyewitnesses on the ship.
Two young women.
That saw him with Amy, they claim, after
the club closed.
The club closed, and the timeline he said that he was near her or anywhere around her. And it's just, then you have other people saying, oh, I saw him on the, island with her.
Right. Well, the daughter even asks if he was walking on the beach in Curacao with Amy. And he says no, and his excuse is, I stay away from beaches because I don't like them.
Yeah.
We're just supposed to believe that I don't like beaches.
He grew up in an island nation, but
I don't walk on beaches. I hate beaches.
Yeah.
Fuck that beach.
I don't know. What do you think? I felt like he was kind of seemingly evasive, honestly.
It did, and his tone was very defensive. The director has said in an interview that the daughter, Amica, warned that he would probably be very defensive if she called.
Right.
And we definitely got that. So, I mean, it seems like he's consistent in his response when people ask him about this. I don't know, Dylan. I guess I kind of think sometimes about, if you're not involved in something and people are asking you about it, like, are you going to be that emotionally, like, involved? Like, because it seemed he was pretty emotional about it.
Right. Even all these years later.
And if somebody asks me something and I haven't done it, I'm just going to be like, no. I mean, I did not.
Well, and you may even say something like that. This is where, if you think I'm frustrated, this is why I feel that way, because I had nothing. You keep kind of stating that you're not guilty. You have no connection, this and that. And he doesn't really come out right and say that.
Amy's family is convinced that she's still out there. As you mentioned, they are a bit frozen in time, or seem to be like at a standstill waiting for her to return. They have a lot of faith that one day she's going to come home, which I think, it's good to have something to hold on to.
Yeah.
For these poor people. I mean, seeing how they, even all these years later, talk about her and cry, it's very sad.
It is.
And it does seem like it's greatly impacted the whole family. And at one point, her brother talks about having, never gotten married, never have kids, because he's like, I would be so afraid that something like this could happen to my kid.
Well, and also the fact his sister would not be there. She would be missing all these big things in his life.
Yeah.
Super sad.
It's really sad. There was a guy, I think he was from Australia, who happened to hear about the case, was a bit surprised, like, how have I never heard of this case before, a few years ago, and decided to create a website, amybradleysmissing.com. He's featured in the documentary, and he discusses how he updates, the website pretty regularly, and they post a lot of family pictures there. And an IP address from Curacao and Barbados visits it around holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries. And whoever this visitor is seems to kind of hang out on the website for about 45 minutes, which is a lengthy amount of time to just hang out on a website.
Well, if you know nothing about these people or this website, you're probably not going to peruse pictures for over an hour, right?
Well, it's upsetting because the FBI can't get more information on this IP address since it's not from a U.S. carrier. And again, as you mentioned, they don't have jurisdiction,
right,
in these other countries. But her family hopes that it's connected to Amy, but they don't know for sure, and they think maybe she could be checking up on the website, trying to see pictures of her family.
Was somebody doing this consistently around birthday times, even for family members, or Amy's birthday and holidays? So honestly, I would have to think it's either Amy or someone who had something to do with Amy disappearing.
Another thing that really broke my heart was how Amy's mother described how every day she would wake up and think, maybe today, meaning today might be the day we find Amy. And when she and her husband go to bed at night, they almost have like a good night ritual where they say to each other, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Brad, Amy's brother, says that they all have a gut feeling that she is out there somewhere, and that this lack of closure or not knowing allows them to continue having hope that maybe one day they will have an answer, and that he prefers it that way instead of having finality that, like, no, she's dead.
Well, I think almost the hope can in a way be intoxicating, or just because there isn't that final bit of information, or I get that, but at the same time, it's kind of that's why, 30 years later, this family's still kind of frozen in place as far as it goes with Amy.
There are a few things that were not included in the documentary
Really?
about this case. And I don't know why the directors made the decision not to include these details, but they're pretty significant as far as the case goes, Dylan. One of the last people to see Amy was, again, Yellow, Alistair Douglas. Footage showed the two of them hanging out at the club on board the ship in the early hours of the day that she went missing. And then, of course, we know that Yellow has denied any involvement in Amy's disappearance. But there is this detail that the Netflix documentary left out about him. During an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, it was said that Amy's brother Brad claimed that Yellow had come up to him on the pool deck shortly after Amy disappeared and said, "Hey man, I'm sorry to hear about your sister." And this was before the captain or anyone had made an announcement. It was only the captain and the Bradley family that knew about the disappearance. No announcement had been made yet.
Right.
That's a very odd piece of information, right?
Well, yeah,
To
how would
leave
he
out
know?
of the documentary.
Yeah, why would you leave that out, I wonder?
Another detail that is missed out of the series is that a jawbone washed up on shore near where Amy Bradley was last seen back in 2010. Local authorities discovered a jawbone. It washed up on a beach in Aruba, and it was believed to belong to a Caucasian. Now, of course, there was another big missing persons case around the same time as this discovery, and that is of 18-year-old Natalie Holloway. The jawbone was tested and found not to belong to Natalie, but they didn't carry out any tests to see if it could have possibly belonged to Amy Bradley.
Damn.
Also, during the search, Dylan, the Bradley family was scammed out of $200,000 by someone who claimed he could help find Amy.
What a piece of
Now,
shit.
I remember this part of the story, and I was curious why it was not included. This guy named Frank Jones, who was a self-professed former Navy SEAL, emailed the family in 1999 and said that he knew a team of former Navy SEALs and Army Rangers that could, quote, bring Amy home from Curacao, which is one of the places they think she could have been. Jones sent some fake photos to the family and claimed his men had seen her multiple times. He ended up being arrested in 2002 and was given 5 years in prison for mail fraud. He took $24,444 of the family's personal savings and another $186,416 from a fund set up by Missing Persons Charity.
Damn. I mean,
Just took the money and swindled this family.
I mean, just how terrible a person do you have to be to do something like this?
Well, I think this is not an uncommon thing because I'm pretty sure during the time that Natalie Holloway was missing, her parents had people reach out. Well, if you pay me, I can help you, or you could hire me. I think these private investigators and these types of people involve themselves
Well,
to
of
try
course.
to scam.
Yeah, you get psychics doing the same thing, right?
Yeah. Now, at the end of the Amy Bradley is Missing documentary, a lawsuit is mentioned, but the series doesn't give you any context to this court case. So in 1999, the Bradleys filed 2 lawsuits against Royal Caribbean, the cruise line. They sought damages for alleged negligence, defamation, and intentional emotional damage. But in 2000, they were dismissed, these lawsuits. What was a big part of the lawsuits being dismissed was that it found the Bradley family had lied in court. A judge called out the family for making numerous exaggerated claims.
Damn.
The judge is reported to have found the Bradleys failed to disclose contact with witnesses who contradicted their claims that Amy had been taken from the ship against her will.
Okay.
Also, there wasn't a mention of this, but despite no conclusion being made about Amy's whereabouts or what happened to her, she was declared legally dead in March of 2010. But she does remain on the FBI's most wanted missing persons list.
Interesting.
I guess it's a most wanted missing persons, yeah. Which sounds kind of odd.
The FBI's most missing
Most
list?
wanted missing persons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's I could that doesn't surprise me they would leave some of those components out of the documentary. Though I think they're relevant personally.
You do?
Well, in ways. I mean, I guess they're trying to maybe depict a little more hopeful ending there, just leaving it open ended about the possibility that she's still alive. I mean, I'm really surprised they didn't do some DNA comparison to her family from the jawbone. I mean, that's something that seems like, this being a high profile case as well, seems like somebody would have suggested that,
Right.
And even as a family, as sad as that might make me, I would want to know.
Getting the stories from her friends about what kind of person she was, their first-hand account of finding out she was missing, what happened in the days and weeks to follow. I mean, it's really touching.
It is.
And you do greatly empathize with these folks, because Amy was a young woman, and to see her friends discuss how they were just young, they were so young and they had their whole lives ahead of them, and how Amy had graduated from college, she had gotten an apartment, was settling in when she came back from the cruise, she was getting ready to start a new job, was so excited about all these possibilities for her future.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad.
Any other thoughts on the docuseries, Dylan?
No.
I thought it was very well done.
It's very well done. It was good, as far as a docuseries can be, and I thought everyone did a good job. I thought the attitude from the cruise line and their employees
They had a stank attitude.
It was really terrible. It's just like, oh, business as usual, and even they can't even act like all these years later. It's just like I don't know. There's very little empathy for the family, it seems.
There was a lady featured in the docuseries also who was a cruise ship advocate, like a safety advocate. Her daughter had passed away on a cruise ship, headed for Mexico. We didn't get a lot of details about what happened with her daughter, but it was eye-opening to hear this lady discuss the issues surrounding cruise ships and a lot of the crimes that happen on board cruise ships.
Well, yeah.
Missing persons cases, murders,
sexual
assaults, and how poorly it seems that these cruise lines handle those types of situations.
Well, yeah, because
and of course, they don't want word to get out to the other guests on board.
Yeah, and I think we've heard about cases of them poorly vetting employees on the ship. There's hundreds and hundreds of employees from all kinds of different countries, and it's just dangerous, right? You're on this ship that's as big as a small
city,
a floating city or town, and a lot of times you have people who have never been on a ship before, right? Who aren't cognizant of the dangers. People want to go hang on the railing and look over, and that's a very dangerous thing to do. You got to be careful, because when you fall from a ship of that size, it's quite different than if you're out at the lake on somebody's pontoon boat or something. They can't just whip around and grab you right quick, right? For one, the fall may injure you or kill you. It's so high, and you hit that water, and then you're out to sea, typically out to sea somewhere, which is very dangerous environment. And I think recently there was a man who jumped from a ship because his daughter fell off of it, and he jumped off to try to keep her afloat, but it still took 20 or 30 minutes for them to get help to him. So it's not an easy thing for them to keep track of where you fell.
Right, a rescue mission is
where you're at.
Quite complicated.
It is. And I saw a lot of cruises are reluctant to add this newer technologies that would almost automatically make the ship go into a rescue response mode, stop the engines, and start, positioning it to if someone falls off. But a lot of them are reluctant to add this technology purely because of the cost. And that kind of gives you an idea of it's that bottom line mentality. And that seems like a silly thing to not want to pay for, in my opinion. That could save someone's life.
I have to say, the cruise ship, the cruise director guys' attitude throughout the docuseries, I really wanted to punch this guy in the face.
Yes.
I mean, he's all like, "Oh, your family. Oh, your sad family. Oh, your daughter's missing. Oh, get out of my way. We have to do the Macarena." I mean,
yeah.
It was just like, bro.
What a dick.
He had no. He was almost. like mean about this family.
Well, I'm saying all this time later, he still acts like that.
He's almost hostile towards them.
Yeah, because they're causing a problem. And he doesn't want to deal with it.
No, he was a dick.
He was.
I did not like him at all. And if he was my cruise director, I wouldn't like it. I'd complain.
I'd swing on his punk ass.
I'd write a 1-star review.
Yes, you're getting a 1 star.
Dylan, are you ready to discuss some crime news from the past week? I'm not going to say it's been a slow week in crime, but the internet is inundated with information about the Brian Kohberger sentencing. I'm over looking at his dumb face.
Yeah, man, screw him and screw that
His
DA.
weird, gaunt little face.
I don't know why in the world, which it's whatever. I'm not even going to go into it.
He was given 4 consecutive life sentences.
Yeah, but, our only hope now is that he does, get...
He gets Dahmered in prison.
Get Dahmered in prison or beaten or killed by another inmate. So we still got that going for us. And I don't know if it's true, but allegedly one family member in witness impact statements said you got A's and B's throughout high school and college, but you'll just be getting big D's in prison. So I hope that's true.
Is this something that you saw on TikTok?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Dylan,
but look,
you are the worst. You believe anything you see
No,
online.
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
I opened that
You've
with...
turned into one of those people.
No, I don't. I just said I hope that's true because that's a great statement if that did indeed happened. But yeah, man, screw Kohberger and screw all the damn big networks and stuff. They're still trying to milk the last little true crime milk out of that. I mean, just let it go, people. Let those poor people rest. Let those families leave it alone. And it's like they couldn't stand it because they didn't get the trial, right? Because they wanted to just, dateline it and the correspondence and just every second. Man, they just go so far with
They
that
really
shit.
do. And you're right. They do it's like beating a horse to death because now they have all these articles like, how will he fare in prison? His cellmates share his quirks.
Dude, it's like because...
I mean, come on. Like, he had milk with his lunch in prison.
Diddy trial wrapped up. The Karen Reed trial wrapped up. These were all high-profile incidents and some other notable things. And they just can't, they don't know what to do with themselves. They just don't know what to do with themselves. And they act like these big conglomerate network whatevers. And it's funny, now everybody has a podcast, right? It's funny how, used to they thought podcasts were a joke, but everybody has one now. They act like they're so much better than the small little independent podcasters. And they will whitewash stuff. They will leave stuff out that completely affects the narrative or perception of a case, and they will hide out or camp outside of someone's house and berate them with questions and just constantly harass them. They're the ones who do that crap. It's not the little independent podcasters, and it really makes me disgusted how they act over a case. It really sometimes makes my blood boil.
I don't listen to a lot of those bigger television owned podcasts.
No, I don't either. But I see how they act and how they do and how they constantly. It's just, I don't know. They're like piranhas. I mean, they really are.
Dylan, let's get into some news.
Okay.
A dance teacher in South Carolina is facing charges after an investigation that stemmed from a dance routine that parents believed was inappropriate.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I don't have a lot of details about this dance routine, but if it's glaring enough for parents to complain, it had to be inappropriate, right?
Had to be pretty bad, right?
Andrea Mizell, 45, is accused of giving children alcohol, having vulgar conversations with them, showing students sexually explicit photos of herself, and even touching students inappropriately during their dance practices.
Okay.
The investigation into Mizell started in March when police responded to a report of an argument at the dance school. An incident report said the fight centered on a dance routine that some parents said conflicted with their morals. Gosh, what was happening in this dance routine?
I don't know because, a lot of people have complained about kind of sexualizing young children and stuff with some of these dance competitions, if you will. So this must have really been over the top.
The dance instructor, 45-year-old Mazel, reportedly had set a time kind of aside to speak with the concerned parents about this choreography. However, several other parents unexpectedly showed up to discuss the dance as well, and Mazel reportedly left in a panic to avoid the parents.
Oh.
She just left. And when officers arrived at the studio, she was gone, but her fiance and sister were there, along with multiple parents. Officers spoke with the parents and the children who raised concerns about this woman's inappropriate contact and conduct. Some children said Mazel had given them alcohol and had vulgar conversations with them. One of the children described Mazel inviting some of them to her apartment and giving them margaritas while they watched a movie. The students also claimed Mazel had detailed graphic conversations with them about her sex life, and one child claimed Mazel had shown nude photos of herself to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
None of that is okay. None of that is appropriate. Not even close.
In affidavits, multiple students stated that she had touched them in the private parts on the butt, which was unwanted and non-consensual.
All right.
That's private parts on the butt, so I'm not exactly sure what that means.
You do that to me all the time.
Well, you like it. One victim told police it would happen multiple times during practice, making them uncomfortable, and that she would kind of go out of her way to touch students, grabbing their waist, grabbing their butts. She would give them these little smacks that made them feel uncomfortable. Mazel would place her hands on these victims during practices, and that it was not associated with something like correcting the students' posture or dance moves.
Right.
Yeah. Some students claim that Mazel would also change her clothes in front of them, exposing herself. So she's been charged with 4 counts of second-degree assault and battery, 4 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and 3 counts of disseminating harmful material to minors, according to court documents.
Damn, I guess she can't hide from all those charges.
What the hell is wrong with these people?
Well, it certainly sounds like she should not be in any kind of position like to lead young people, right? Or
No,
direct them.
Absolutely not. And, like, what are you doing?
I don't know. She's lucky somebody can whoop her ass.
Yeah. Dylan, moving along, tragedy has struck over the weekend in Traverse City, Michigan. At least 11 people were stabbed inside a Walmart Saturday night, causing terrified shoppers and employees to flee before a braved armed citizen helped detain this knife-wielding person. And this happened to be caught on video.
Damn.
The terror unfolded around 5 p.m. when a 42-year-old male attacker began randomly stabbing shoppers with what was described as a standard folding knife in various sections of the chain store. Traverse City is about 255 miles northwest of Detroit. So based on information that law enforcement has, these seem to be random acts, and that this kind of violent knifing is very uncommon in this city. But 11 victims, I mean, come on, that's too many.
Well, yeah, I gotta say, they always say you never know what you would do until you're in this situation. Man, I'm clearing the damn shelves, dude. I'm telling you, I'm going to be throwing everything I can at this person. I'm going to have a cast iron pot or pan in each hand if I can. I mean, I'm going to do something to protect myself from a knife. I mean,
it sounds like it was such a quick attack.
Well,
People
yeah.
were not expecting it. They were ill prepared, Dylan.
Yeah, I know, but this is scary though.
It's very scary.
I mean, this is honestly, this is just as scary as someone opening up fire in a public place. I mean, someone just randomly stabbing everyone that comes anywhere near them, running around. I mean, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I don't want to be stabbed in a public place.
I don't want to be stabbed in a private place.
I just think about, well, that too. I just think about like how busy and crowded a Walmart is.
Yeah, I know.
And someone going around just randomly stabbed because it's full of people.
It is.
You got a lot of victims. And most people are shopping and not really paying attention. So it really is kind of like it could be a sneak attack. Like a blood style attack on people.
And then if you go to run, you're going to have those people that block the aisle that are like looking at sour cream, reading the label for some reason, even though it's the same sour cream you bought all your life. So or there's families who walk a shoulder to shoulder, right? 4 or 5 of them, blocking an entire 20-foot lane because you've never heard of single file, or sharing space with other people in public. So if you can see that the other problems I have in a Walmart already, I feel are only going to exacerbate this knife attack and trying to flee from this attacker.
Ugh. Now you got me thinking about knife attacks in Walmart.
No.
All right, Dylan, moving along here. Burbank, California. This is ridiculous. That's why we have to talk about it.
Okay.
A suspected serial butt sniffer is behind bars again for allegedly engaging in lewd behavior behind a female customer at a store.
Look, I didn't know where you were going to go with this, but a serial butt sniffer, I don't think that's exactly one thing I thought it could be.
Well, according to Burbank police, on July 22nd, officers received a report of suspicious loitering in the women's department of the Nordstrom Rack on North Victory Place. Police learned the suspect, 38-year-old Khalees Crowder, left, and they were able to locate him at a nearby Walmart. Investigators obtained surveillance footage that allegedly showed Crowder following around a female customer in the women's section. He would crouch near her and engage in lewd behavior by inappropriately sniffing her buttocks.
I wonder what he's looking for. Or if he's looking to smell poop, or if he wants to smell a fresh butt. What do you think? What do you think really satisfies him? A sweaty butt? Or like a freshly laundered butt? I mean, gosh, so many questions.
How do you come to find out
You like sniffing butts?
that you like sniffing butts?
Maybe just an accidental butt sniffing. I guess it could happen. It's never happened to me in my 47 years.
You never accidentally sniffed a butt?
No, it was always intentional.
Okay.
You've learned my deep, dark secret. I'm at the top of the butt sniffing gang.
Oh, well, then do you know this guy?
Yeah.
Are you guys in the same club?
Wait,
You got like a Facebook group?
Me and the rest of the butt sniffers always knew he was going to get caught. He just wasn't very good. Wasn't good at it.
I feel like a few years ago, some guy was arrested for trying to sniff Kim Kardashian's butt.
Ew. That's one butt I wouldn't sniff.
You wouldn't?
No.
Well, they say those butt implants smell.
Yeah.
That they leak and smell bad.
Like bad. Like real bad.
Maybe sniff your old leaky butt implants.
God. And then your butt implants is down around your back of your knees now. And now you got like these prominent back knees. What the hell?
Crowder is a registered sex offender who's currently on parole. He was arrested after this incident and remains held on a $100,000 bail. So he's set to appear in court August 1st. He has a history of similar arrests in the area dating back several years. He was arrested in September of 2021 on suspicion of prowling and peeping into various windows, multiple different occasions. He made national headlines after a 28-year-old victim posted a TikTok video of the suspect allegedly crouching down near her legs at a Barnes & Noble. He's accused of doing the same thing to another woman who was shopping nearby. He was arrested that month as well for peeping into an occupied home in Glendale, California, but was then released due to jail overcrowding. And he was arrested again after he failed to register as a sex offender with local law enforcement.
So we're being goofy, but this is just a very disturbing behavior. I mean, could you imagine?
No.
And all this peeping and all this stuff's deviant behavior. We know from our years of podcasting and true crime that these types of things typically escalate, and this is not good. And this is the person, you put this guy in jail and you let somebody else out. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't care if it's overcrowded or not. This type of behavior is very dangerous. It's the type of thing that leads to obsession, stalking, murder, all these things, sexual assault. I mean, yeah, it goes hand in hand.
More butt sniffing?
Unadulterated butt sniffing?
Non-consensual butt sniffing?
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
No, this is bad stuff.
This guy's depraved.
Definitely.
He's a pervert.
He is a pervert. And I think we need to get back to shaming perverts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went too far with all this
Acceptance
of everything's okay. Everything's not okay.
It's not okay for you to sniff somebody's butt in public.
Well,
I don't care if they consent to it. Don't sniff butts in public.
It's not okay to invade someone's space like this and just be like, "Oh, it's my fetish." Screw that, dude, because you're terrorizing people that you're doing this to. I mean, women already have enough looking over their shoulder just every day in public.
Not only do you have to look over your shoulder, but now you got to look down between your legs and look around your butt.
I'm gonna sniff your butt when we get off this podcast.
Yeah, I got something for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what kind of butts I want to smell.
No, I don't. I don't, actually. And now I'm feeling a little uncomfortable with this conversation.
Yeah, it's turned from a non-consensual butt sniffing.
Oh, my gosh.
It's going to be a surprise.
We got to talk about this, Dylan. A 39-year-old woman is accused of using fraudulent documents and at least 10 different identities to land nursing jobs across Pennsylvania.
Damn.
Shannon Womack, 39, has been charged with crimes including forgery, identity theft, procurement fraud, unlawful use of a computer, theft by unlawful taking, and endangering the welfare of care, according to court documents. So Womack allegedly used different aliases to pose as a registered nurse, a licensed practical nurse, and a registered nurse supervisor at various nursing facilities and rehabilitation centers. She secured jobs through staffing agencies by submitting fraudulently signed documents. She also created a fake LLC company, according to a news release. So in April, Dylan, state troopers conducted a traffic stop of a Mercedes-Benz in western Pennsylvania. Womack, the driver, provided the troopers with a false identification card, and in a subsequent investigation revealed she had about 20 different aliases and 7 different social security cards associated with her, or numbers.
Damn, she's an identity fraudster.
They believe Womack began this pattern of fraud in 2020 and continued it across other states in the eastern part of the U.S. While a motive is not yet clear, the criminal complaint outline said that Womack had also stolen medication from several of these healthcare facilities.
Well, I think that's your motive.
It's really scary to think that you could have somebody caring for your loved one or yourself in a medical setting that is not a nurse or licensed and, it hasn't been trained to do certain things.
Well, I think that's one of those professions that people just kind of assume that there's these layers of protection as far as vetting employees and making sure about their credentials and things like that. But sometimes that's just not the case, right? You get people who are, a place that has high turnover, stuff like that. You could probably easily lie on your resume and kind of slip in there, right?
Let's talk about this, Dylan. According to local reports, on July 20th, Amandor Martinez arrived in an apartment shared with his girlfriend, Aleda Lopez, early in the morning hours and attempted to rape her. After she fended him off, he assaulted her by biting her left hand, her right armpit, and injured her arm. Then her 15-year-old son, Luis Lopez, tried to intervene and was shot by Amandor Martinez 3 times and murdered.
My God.
Now, this guy, Martinez, is an undocumented alien.
Oh.
So he doesn't have legal status.
Well, he shouldn't be here.
He also assaulted Lopez's daughter with a firearm.
Damn.
Now, I know this is a hot button issue, immigration in the United States. So I don't want to focus on this guy's status. I don't want to make this like a political thing.
No.
But this is horrible. I mean, her son's trying to intervene and is killed. The daughter is attacked. The mother is attacked. I mean, damn. And folks called the 15-year-old Luis Lopez a sweet student. He would have been a sophomore this fall, beloved by classmates.
Yeah, and he just tried to, help his mom who's being attacked by somebody,
So it says this guy Martinez is from Mexico and that he attempted to enter the country 3 times back in 2021. But somehow he's here, and he was living with his girlfriend they had a shared apartment.
Okay.
So it seems he arrived in the early morning hours and attempted to rape her.
Well, honestly, it doesn't matter if he shouldn't be here, any of that. This is a horrible crime, and he's a terrible person. And I mean, it's devastated his entire family.
Yeah, this poor boy, I mean, he was just trying to protect his mom and sister.
Yeah.
And to have his life taken like that is it's really sad.
No, this person should be held to account and the fullest extent of the law and beyond. This is a terrible thing to do.
It's very scary when you get into these domestic situations because it's not only the domestic partners, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever situation, but kids are so often affected by this kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, I know.
You know, I mean, there's more, it's more than two people it's more victims involved in it, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, it's even worse for the kids. They don't have any control of the entire, nothing to do with the situation,
Dylan, this is another quick crime story we need to discuss, and that is 2 people were found dead along a walking trail in a state park in Arkansas on Sunday. A 43-year-old man and a 40-year-old woman were found dead at Devil's Den State Park in Washington County. And investigators are calling it a suspected homicide. They do have a description of a suspect. He's a white male wearing dark shorts and a dark tank top and weightlifting type gloves, and he was seen driving toward a park exit in a black 4-door sedan. The license plate may have been covered by electrical or duct tape, but the vehicle was seen traveling on State Highway 170 or State Highway 220 near the park.
Damn, what a...
At present, the victims' bodies are, being processed at the state crime lab, and of course, they'll determine the manner of death.
Wow, so someone saw this person basically fleeing from the scene, if you will?
Yeah.
That's wild.
At a state park.
Damn, state parks can be super creepy.
Yeah.
And you're usually out in the middle of nowhere.
Alone. It's isolated.
Very usually no authorities, maybe a park ranger nearby, maybe not. And isolated, like you said. And I think people, I don't know why, but they kind of just go into that environment and don't really think about the potential danger. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, you're there to recreate, right? You're
Right.
taking a walk, a hike, soaking up nature, checking out the birds.
Yeah, and most everyone else you see is there to do this exact same thing, relax, enjoy nature. But then, I think it kind of hit me hard with the Gary Hilton.
I was going to say, the Gary
Yeah.
Hilton case really changed my mind about how safe I am when I'm in a national forest, national park, hiking.
Yeah, totally. And because one of the places he hit was there in Hendersonville, very near to us where we lived, and in Georgia too, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I honestly started wanting to, and I'm not even that guy, but I started wanting to at least keep a small caliber handgun on me, just for that very type of thing. Because if you're a mile or two out a trail, which is even more isolated than being in the parking lot at the trailhead, I mean, gosh, if somebody went to make some kind of do some foul stuff to you, you're your only hope of survival.
Well, a lot of times there's nowhere to go because you're on a trail.
Right.
There could be heavy brush.
Or cliffs.
Or you're there's a bank. You're up elevated. I mean, you don't have anywhere to move off the trail.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen most trails are like that. There's really nowhere to go but up or down the trail. Easily.
Very scary stuff.
That's right. So y'all remember this.
Keep your head on a swivel, folks.
You mess with me out there, I'm going to shoot you.
Oh, gosh.
I think they even adjusted the laws on carrying concealed handguns.
I think they have changed some laws about that, but I'm not 100% certain, so don't count on my advice or information, my knowledge.
No, please look up all your ordinances and laws regarding handguns on federal property. Don't take Dylan's advice. But yeah, I might sneak one in there,
I'm going to take a little water gun.
I'll shoot Gary Hilton in the face.
With some acid. Get you some bear spray or something.
Yeah, you can get some bear spray. But what if they have a gun? Then you need to have a gun.
Well, there's that, I guess. All right, Dylan, thanks for sitting down with me today to discuss the Amy Bradley is Missing documentary.
Thanks for having me.
and catch up on some of the crime news happening around the country.
No, there was some interesting stuff going on in that documentary. If you haven't watched it, you should. It's very interesting and well put together, and it's an odd case that'll leave you kind of guessing, I think. And Heather, thank you for sharing your toils and troubles with us. If anybody has comment on today's episode, reach out to us at mountainmurderspodcast@gmail.com. We love to hear from our listeners.
Yeah, we got a really great email from Judy.
Okay.
Judy's a listener over, I believe, in Georgia. So I just wanted to give Judy a big shout out.
Thank you, Judy.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for sending us such a lovely little email. We loved it.
Yes, and thanks to our listeners, and thank you, patrons, for your direct support.
Dylan, don't sniff butts.
I'm going to sniff yours.
Bye.
Bye.